Okay, so let's look at Chapter 1 review number 18. So make sure you actually have this in front of you. Don't just watch me do it, but you fill it in as we go through and pause it when you need to. Okay, so first things first, let's read the question. Scott notices a bug crawling across his graph paper as he's doing his math homework. When he started watching, the bug's at the point 3.2. 10 seconds later, it's at 8.4. 10 seconds after that, it's at 13.6. So part A says draw a picture to illustrate it. Okay, so let me get my black pen over here. Black. Okay, so we're starting at 3.2. All right, so let's find, notice that the axis here goes by twos. So 2, 3, and then up 2. So here's 3.2. 3, 2. And I'm going to mark that just so that I remember as the starting point. I'll do S for start. And then go back to black here. Okay, 10 seconds after that, it's at 8.4. Okay, so 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, right here. 8, 4. And so I'm going to connect them. And then, let me make that a little bit straighter. And then I'm going to say 10 seconds right here, just so we have that. Okay, 10 seconds after that, it's at 13.6. So 13 is about here, 6 is here, 13.6. And that took 10 more seconds. Okay, so that's this one. All right, so draw a picture, done. That's part A. Okay, next part, write a description of any pattern you notice. Okay, so let me get another color here and we'll work on the picture. Blue. Okay, so the pattern, well, let's see. If I started at 3.2 and I went to 8.4, then we can figure out how far across and how far up the bug went. Right, so when you go left to right here on the bottom of that blue triangle, only the x's change. So I'm going from 3 to 8. So that's got to be 5 units. And then when I'm going up here from 2 to 4, only the y's change, so that's a change of 2. Okay, so it looks like every 10 seconds I'm going to the right 5 and up 2. So let's do it here too and see if it's the same thing. So when I go across the bottom here, right here, right, I'm going from 8 to 13. So that's 5 units. And when I'm going up and down right here, that's going from 4 to 6. So that's going to be 2 also. So now it looks like we got a good pattern. So right here down where it says B, I'm going to say every 10 seconds the bug moves 2 units to the right. Oh, I'm sorry, 5 units to the right and 2 units up. Okay. So now the question is, where's the bug after 30 seconds and 35 seconds? Okay, so let me go back to another color here. Let's go black. Okay, so 30 seconds shouldn't be too hard. Here's 10 seconds, here's 20 seconds, right? So 30 seconds, I'm just going to do another pattern triangle right here. So let me switch back to blue. We know we're going to have to go 5 units this way and 2 units up. And switch back to black. Here's the connection. That takes 10 seconds. And so, where's this point going to be? Right? So if you think about it, well, I was at 13.6. So if I go 5 units to the right, I'm going to end up at 18. And if I go up 2 units, the 6 is going to turn into an 8. So I'm at 18.8. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so let me shrink this down just a little bit so that it's not in the way. Whoops. Right there. Okay. Well, now I got to do 35 seconds, right? So I can't go 5 and 2 or else that'll get me to 40 seconds. So 5 seconds shouldn't be too bad if you know 10 seconds looks like this. Let me make this more accurate. right? This is 10 seconds. So 5 seconds, well, hopefully that makes sense that you just cut everything in half. Right? Okay. So let's take the 5 seconds and add it on to where 30 was. This is my 30-second mark. Right? This one was the 20. This one was the 10-second. Okay. So let's add the 5 extra seconds here. So I'm going to go over 2.5. And up 1. Okay, so I remember now, I'm at 18.8, and I go over 2.5 more, so the over 2.5 is going to get me to 20.5, and then the up 1 will get me to 9. So this is at 35 seconds. So that's our answer down here, 20.5, 9. All right, so next question down here, 5 seconds before, 15 seconds before, right? Okay, so 5 seconds earlier, well, that's going to be, here's our starting point right here, right? Let me get a different color here, red. Here's our starting point. 5 seconds before, we're going to go this way, 5 seconds, right? Well, we already know how fast the bug is, or what the bug's doing every 5 seconds, so assuming that the bug kept doing the same thing before we started watching him, let's go 1 down and go 2.5 backwards. So this way, 2.5. 1 down, 2.5. So this point right here will be 5 seconds before. Okay, well 5 seconds before, let's see, if we were at 3.2 and I drop 1, then the y's are going to change. So I was at 2, I drop 1, I'm going to end up at 1. If I was at 3 before and I go backwards 2.5 units, now I'm at 0.5. So 5 seconds before, 0.5, comma 1. All right, so now we got to go 15 seconds before. Well, here's 5 seconds before, right? 15 seconds before would be another 10 extra seconds before, and here's what 10 seconds is. So let's do that. 10 seconds before here, looks something like roughly that long. I know I'm going to have to go down 2 and over 5. I was at this point right here, so if I drop 2, the 1 changes. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then I was at 0.5 and I go 5 units backwards, so that's going to be negative 4.5 right there. So negative 4.5 comma negative 1. Okay? Now, the assumptions. So what assumptions did you make in order to complete these parts? All right. Well, hopefully you realize most bugs aren't going to walk straight like this, I would think, right? Straight along that path. And they're probably not going to keep walking at the same rate the entire time, but that's what we have to decide on in order to actually solve this problem. So really we made 2 assumptions. One is the bug is walking in a straight line. And 2, we're assuming the bug's not changing how fast he's walking. So bug is walking with a constant speed. Okay, just one other thing, because this comes in handy for other problems like this, is what happens if I asked you, let's say, let me get rid of some of these things. So let's say, what if I wanted to know where's the bug after 14 seconds? Okay, so we don't need this stuff here. And we don't even need this stuff anymore. Okay, so 14 seconds, well here's 10 seconds right here. 14 seconds means I need 4 more seconds, right? So, we know what 10 seconds looks like. So, here's the nice trick that I think is probably the easiest for most people to understand. If I know what 10 seconds looks like, then I can figure out what 1 second looks like. Right? Just divide everything by 10. Right? So this one's going to be 0.2, and this one's going to be 0.5. So now, the nice thing about this is I can get any number of seconds out of that. If I want 4 seconds, I just multiply by 4. So this guy times 4 is 0.8, and this guy times 4 is 2.0. Or 2 even, really. Okay, so now if I want 14 seconds, I'm just going to go over 2 and up 0.8, and then you could figure out where that guy goes. If you needed 14 seconds. Remember, that's a made-up part of the problem, but it comes in handy for similar problems like this. Okay? If you don't understand it, go ahead and rewatch it.